While we in the rich world may be blind to the suffering of the poor throughout the world are very much aware of how the rich live, and they've shown that they're willing to take action. We cannot remain voluntarily blind to the impact of economic choices on the poor and vulnerable, not only because of the immoral argument that treating your neighbor with dignity is the right thing to do, but also because of the economic argument that when growth includes women, young people, and the poor, we all benefit and inequalities hurt everyone. In the past 20 years, the world was able to lift roughly 35 million people out of poverty every year. But if we're going to reach our goal of ending extreme poverty by 2030, we need to help 50 million people raise themselves out of poverty every year. Martin Luther King once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." Today, we must ask ourselves whether we, like Dr. King did in his life, are doing all we can to forcefully bend the arc of history toward justice, toward helping lift more than 1 billion people out of the devastation of extreme poverty. I'm now just 21 months into my tenure as president of the World Bank Group, and I ask myself this question: are we doing enough every single day? The world's development needs, of course, far outstrip the World Bank Group's abilities to address them, but we can do so much more. In order to meet the increased demand that we are expecting as we get better at delivering knowledge and solutions to our clients, we've also strengthened our financial capacity to scale up revenue and stretch our capital. I'm pleased to announce today that with the support of our board, we now have the capacity to nearly double our annual lending to middle-income countries from $15 billion to as much as $28 billion a year. This means that the World Bank's lending capacity, or the amount of loans we carry on our balance sheet, will increase by $100 billion in the next decade to roughly $300 billion. This is in addition to the largest replenishment in history of IDA, our Fund for the Poorest, with nearly $52 billion in grants and concessional loans that we received just in December. At the same time, we're also increasing our direct support to the private sector. MIGA is planning to increase its new guarantees by nearly 50% over the next 4 years. IFC expects it will nearly double its portfolio over the next decade to $90 billion. In 10 years, we believe that IFC's new commitments, annual commitments, will increase to $26 billion a year. Taken as a whole, the World Bank Group's annual commitment, which today is around $45 to $50 billion, is expected to grow to more than $70 billion in the coming years. This increased financial firepower represents unprecedented growth for the World Bank Group. We're now in a position to mobilize and leverage, in total, hundreds of billions of dollars annually in the years ahead. Now, as a matter of integrity, we needed to look inside our institution and identify savings. Almost every large organization can become more efficient, and we announced a goal of saving $400 million in the next 3 years. I believe very strongly that we had to get leaner before we got bigger. As a physician, health activist, and later health policymaker, I had the privilege to be part of the international HIV/AIDS movement that emerged in the 1990s. The AIDS fight is a story of vast human suffering, but it's also one of history's most inspiring examples of successful global mobilization to reach shared goals. Social movements can produce results, even in the face of problems that appear insurmountable. We need to take the lessons from such efforts and apply them to a movement around today's great challenges: ending poverty, boosting shared prosperity, and ensuring that our economic progress does not irreparably compromise our children's future because of climate change. Last fall, I had the opportunity to discuss these issues with Pope Francis. When I described our commitment to build a global movement to end poverty by 2030, the Pope answered simply, "Cuenta conmigo," count on me. All parts of our global society must unite to translate the vision of a more just, sustainable economy into the resolute action that will be our legacy to the future. In global institutions, governments, companies, and communities around the world, people have begun to work to make this vision real. To all these people, to all of you, I say, we stand with you. Cuenten con nosotros. Thank you.